mean, I feel like racism really comes down to people's ignorance and not really understanding or knowing someone else with a different culture or background. And, I mean, most of the people I've met in Texas, like, I've seen more racist people when I used to live in the Northeast, you know?
I did in New York. I saw so many racists. Like, you'd see cab drivers yell at the N-word.
I don't know, like, if you're still, like, close with Joe Rogan. Like, I've seen some, like, fight, well, not, like, fight, but, like, you know.
Him and black guys?
No, just, like, something that he says, like, honest conflict is better than dishonest harmony. And I feel like people are just going to be people that I'd rather you be authentic with yourself. And if you don't like me because of my race, just let me be truthful. Don't lie, because, like, some people, you know, like, be nice. And then when you truly get to know them, you know. Yeah.
I mean, I think, too, like, we were just talking about the hair thing. And I was just talking with a man, his name was Kendall. And he was a young black man. And he said that he felt like there were these preconceived notions, these expectations of what it is to be a black man, he said, and that was hard to live up to. And he said that, you know, we're all athletic, and he said, you know, he wasn't really that way. He was seemed more like of a book smart kind of guy. And I think that's a good example of something where I don't think that I have that as a white person. And so we don't need to be colorblind. I go, man, well, that sounds pretty hard. People expect you to act a certain way because you're black. And he said, and you don't know that. And I said, okay.
Like to tell it, hey, yo, what's up, man? How you doing?
Right, exactly, that kind of thing. He was a very nice, articulate man. And so I think there are differences, and learning about that is a good, it means, like, I can be ignorant. For example, like, you get your haircut. I don't know any white guy gets his haircut every other week. I just learned something.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should take pride in getting to, you know, having that experience to be able to learn from others. I feel like a person should always want to be, you know, like, expand their mind. And, like, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to know for yourself, not because you were trying to be condescending or demeaning in any way, you know?
Right. Can I ask you this? Your dad was, you said, former military man? So a strict guy. What is his view right now on the riots and the Black Lives Matter and the law enforcement?
We do not speak that much, like, about this issue. My brother, he protests. He doesn't believe in the rioting and looting. I don't think any of our family members do, but I don't think America's systemically racist. But it's like, if you were to look at, like, the amount of black men per 1,000 and white men per 1,000, because I believe the Caucasian race 3 times triples the black people, correct? Or is that
black,
is that wrong?
Depending on the number, make up between 10 and 15% of the United States population.
But still, like, the same amount of blacks are being killed as whites, even though there are more white people than black people.
That's something we've talked about quite a bit, and actually it's significantly less. But you can't just base it on percentages. So
because I mean, I don't want to be a number myself, you know.
Right. But even more, there are numbers that I think that are more relevant in that scenario. So, for example, last year there were 9 unarmed black men shot by police officers. Okay, white guys there were 19. Now, if you were to look at those numbers and just say, well, that's not nearly as much more as there are white people in the country, well, you also have to take into account interactions with officers based on violent crimes. And I'm sure this isn't a surprise necessarily to you, but the number was, do you know how much more likely a black male, specifically a black male under the age of 30, is to commit homicide than a white male?
I do not.
It's over 35 times more likely. 50% of all homicides in the country are committed by black males. Now, a lot of that is gang violence. As you know, that happens in neighborhoods, and they don't have that so much even in poor white neighborhoods. They don't really have the same gang-on-gang violence, so it's not necessarily just, you know, black-on-white crime or white-on-black crime. And they also commit 60% of armed robberies.
And I mean, for all we know, it's like, I feel like there's always, like, secrets have secrets, and there's always agendas. Like, for all we know, all this could be on the media and put out there just to make it seem like the cops are racist. Right. Because I don't believe I think it's people that are racist, not a system. You can't generalize people. Not everyone's the same.